You are a masterpiece.
Ta-da!
So, little kid goes to a grandma's birthday party and notices that there's only a couple of candles on the cake. And he knows at his birthday party, it's the amount of candles that it's his age. So he goes to his grandmother and says, "How old are you?" She goes, 39 and holding. He thinks about this for a minute and goes, "How old would you be if you let go?" Let's do our receptivity prayer. I am open to the evolution of my soul. My mind is alert. My heart is receptive. My next step is here and now. And so it is. All right. Too many people don't think well of themselves. They think they're not tall enough, they're not smart enough, they're too old, they don't have the right personality. Well, I'm here to tell you today that you are a masterpiece, that you are the perfection of the divine, that within you is something so powerful and so great, so original, so unique, that you are the only one who can bring the gift that you have. No one else can do it just the same way you can. You could go around, you think a maple tree thinks, "Oh geez, I wish I was an oak because they're taller." Or a horse thinks about, "Isn't a zebra prettier?" Each of us comes with our unique gifts in the package we've come in. And it doesn't matter what that package is. It's actually perfect for who we have come here to be and what we have come here to bring. Please bring up the first slide. In case you don't know, this is Stephen Hawking. Hopefully. Yeah, okay. If he didn't have as much time to sit, he would have never come up with the kinds of stuff that has impacted our planet to the level it has. Talk about a man who has made the most out of what others might consider a disability. His book, The Theory of Everything, brought out a concept that blew my mind, which is that we exist for the sole purpose of the universe appreciating itself. I love that. Here's a guy who can't talk except, he can't hardly move except for a couple of fingers, and what he's thinking about is appreciation. What he's thinking about is what he could bring forth in terms of what he does have, which is this incredible mind. It hasn't limited him one bit. He has kids. And what he focused on was that this was our beingness. Our here is so we can appreciate ourselves and the universe. It took billions of years for the universe to create a species that was self-aware enough to appreciate itself. And we get impatient when things don't happen in an hour. Next slide, please. This woman has autism. When she was 18, her name is Temple Gradman, and when she was 18, she came up with the idea of how to handle her autism. She created what's called a squeeze box, which is a box that she would get in and then have it squeeze her to calm her down. When she brought it to her college dorm, her college roommate freaked out. So she went and actually had it become an experiment at the college and proved by using lots and lots of folks coming and getting into the thing that it actually helped anybody who wanted to feel cuddled, who wanted to feel that closeness but couldn't really take it from another human being. She took her, what some would call a disability, and wrote this incredible book called The Autistic Brain, Thinking Across the Spectrum. She is an advocate for autism. She is also an advocate for animal rights, and found through the use of her squeeze box, which she would have never come up with if she wasn't autistic, that cattle like that too. And that actually by making the path that cattle travels thinner, the cattle relaxed more and went easier and didn't freak out so much. And actually got regulations changed so that every cattle farm in America has to use her ideas about how to make cattle feel better about their passages. Would have never happened. This woman recognized herself as a masterpiece, did not see her disability as a disability, saw it as something to rise from. And that's what we have for each of us. Anything you feel as a limitation, that is your gift. That is your place to rise. That is what you bring that can make you special, that does make you special, that makes you unique, makes you original, makes you who you really are. And as you bring the original master peaceful gift you have to bring. Master peaceful. Next slide, please. Most of you may know this is Helen Keller, born deaf and couldn't speak either. Couldn't hear. That was what it was. Could not see and could not hear. Blind and deaf. There we go. She could have easily said, I'm disabled. There's nothing I can do with this. And in fact, when she was young, probably felt that way, but got a lot of support, and then used that support to become this incredible advocate, not just for the deaf and blind, but as a feminist. But the list is pretty long in all the ways in which she rode through on behalf of disabilities, feminists, suffragists, in terms of getting the vote for women, social activist, pacifist, published author. She also liked a lot of physical activities. She rode horses, bicycles, played chess, and backgammon. Boy, played chess. I have trouble doing that with my 8, and I am able to see. This is an extraordinary woman who took what others may call a disability and turned it into something extraordinary, a masterpiece. This is what's possible for each of us. These people I'm showing you up here aren't special. They just did something special. They recognized the divine within themselves and rose to be the masterpiece that they knew that they already were. And that's what each of us has. We have that ability to do it for ourselves. Each and every time, no matter what we think our limitations might be. Next slide, please. I'm hoping that's Peter. Can you see him all right? Pull off the lights completely for a second. You know which one I told you to? There you go. Can you see him now? It's a little guy sitting there. 4'5". Wanted to be an actor. Was told the only parts he'd ever get were being a munchkin. Okay, you can put back up the lights now. And he came out here and, You guys may know, if you do recognize him, and any of you have seen Game of Thrones, this is Tyrion Lannister, in which he has won several Emmys for the role, as well as a Golden Globe Award. Nobody could put him off being who he had come here to be just because he was short. He could have taken it as a disability and never got to experience the incredible parts he has gotten in Hollywood, to play the incredible roles he has played, and been the inspiration for anybody else who may think you're limited just because you're short, just because you got a disability. The thing about these folks is they inspire others. And that's what we all have the capability of doing. Each and every one of us has the capability to inspire our generation, to inspire the world with what it is we bring by working through whatever limitation we think we have to be something greater than who we thought we could be. Next slide, please. Who would have thought this woman could make it in Hollywood? Does she look like your normal Hollywood star? Now, she was told the only way she could make it in Hollywood would be the butt of jokes. But for her, that was a strength because she loved her humor. So she said, okay, I'll go be the butt of jokes. In fact, I'll be the one making up the jokes. I'll be the one making sure there's lots of jokes. And she does it so well because she wouldn't accept from anybody the limitation that she didn't look like the actual Hollywood starlet the way we think about them today. But let's say you want to go to Hollywood and you're not into comedy. Next slide, please. Gabourey Sidibe. She starred in a movie called Precious. She's also starred in 21 other different films where she has garnered 27 award wins and 39 nominations. When she first got started, she was at a party with one of her idols, Joan Cusack, who said to her, "You really got to get out of this business because you're way too big and the business is way too image conscious." And she responded right back to Joan, "Oh, please don't tell me what to do about my job. This is my work." Stood right up to her. Didn't let anybody tell her different. When the critic David Edelstein wrote a review in New York Magazine saying that Sidibe's head is a balloon on the body of a Zeppelin, she did not let that stop her. She knew the masterpiece that she was. She stood for it, stood up, and moved forward. And just like Thomas Edison, when I told you guys that when all those people criticized him and made fun of him when he was thousands at a time trying to make the light bulb, and then all those reporters came up and said, "What is your answer to all this criticism you have?" All he did was walk over and switch on the light. She's got the last laugh because she's the one with the career and the awards. Next slide, please. This woman's won an Academy Award and has played some of the most extraordinary roles we've gotten to see in the past decade. Does she look like a Hollywood starlet the way they tell you it's supposed to look like? No. And yet, her brilliance and masterfulness shined because she wouldn't take no for an answer. Her mom was even like, "Don't even try to be an actress." But she knew she had something in her special. She recognized her own masterfulness and was not willing to let anything stop that. She too got a whole bunch of stuff about her looks when she first got to Hollywood, but just kept going, not listening to any of it. Don't be telling yourself you don't have what it takes. Don't be telling yourself that you don't have the looks, you don't have the smarts, you don't have the talent. It's not true. If you have the whim, it's not a fantasy. You have been given everything in the perfection of who you are to achieve everything you have come here to achieve and to be who you have come here to be. You are a masterpiece. Next slide, please. Okay, let me tell you about this woman. She was 43 years old when her husband got paralyzed on their farm, didn't know how to support her family, so decided to try to write at 43. She kept having to work at the farm, clean homes, do whatever it took, because it wasn't until she was 65 that Little House on the Prairie finally sold. She then wrote a whole series up until the age of 76. Never let age stand in your way. If it's yours to do, do it. Age barriers are being broken all the time. It's up to us to recognize that there are zero limitations. We talk about that in our teaching. It's up to us to recognize that we get to move forward with whatever that is within us that wants to express itself. And if I didn't say her name, it's Laura Ingalls Wilder. Okay, let's go on to the next one. This is Catherine Joosten on the left. Many of you may recognize her from West Wing. She was 60, and that was her first break. She had been trying to make it in acting since she was 42. Almost 22 years before she got a break. She didn't stop because she knew it was hers to do. If it's yours to do, keep going. If it's yours to do, don't quit. Don't let anybody tell you you're too old, too small, too fat, too thin, too tall, too small. It's in you to be what you have brought, and there is a way in which you bring it that no one else can. You are the divine. You have this within you. You are from an incredible heritage of the universe. You come out of every sunrise and sunset that we get to see. Your magnificence. Next slide, please. This is Anna Mary Robertson. She grew up on a farm. She married a farmer. They were tenant farmers. They were poor. She had 10 children. At the age of 67, her husband died, and she fell into a deep depression. So she decided to help herself out of depression. She started to paint. Totally self-taught. She kept painting. Got her first break at 78 and became known as Grandma Moses. She kept painting. She wrote her life's history at 92, and she died at the ripe old age of 101. Too old? Do you think you're too old? This is what's possible when you simply follow. She's in a depression. Some people would call that a disability. She called it an opportunity to bring forth that which was hers to bring forth. And just started painting, having never painted before in her life. And she just kept at it. That's when we feel like we are the masterpiece. When we don't let our thoughts and our doubts get in our way. Don't like yourself? Forget that. Love yourself. Love yourself so deeply that you see whatever limitation you might have as actually the opportunity to put forth, move the barriers again. Because that's what's happening all the time with those folks who feel themselves as masterpieces. Those are the ones who are moving barriers. Those are the ones who are moving things out. Those are the ones that are making things greater for all the rest of us. And each one of you in this room has that capability. There's nobody that doesn't. Because I don't know about you, but I sometimes think I have some flaws, but then I look at them. The quirks, the funny things about me. And I go, these are somehow my strengths. I need to figure that out. That's what we need to be doing. Figuring out our strengths through whatever we think is our limitation because it's there. There is no one too old to be being put out to pasture. There's nobody too young who hasn't yet, who thinks they need to wait until they're older to do something. We are all perfect and right exactly where we are moving forward. Accomplishing that which is ours to do. The other day in yoga, Jasmine was asked, what kind of yoga is this? And she tried to talk about it in terms of the hybrid nature of it. But in the end, what it's called is Jasmine yoga. Because it's hers in that uniqueness. That's what each of us have. It's Michael acting. It's Ashley singing. Whatever you are, it is yours and it is unique. And it is not like anybody else. I didn't get a slide for the next one because I figured you'd know who this was. Some of you, probably all of you, have heard of a guy named Elvis Presley. He earned a C in music in school and was told he had no aptitude for singing. After high school, he went and got a job as a truck driver, auditioned for several bands where they said, "You have no talent for this." He knew that he did. He knew that he did. So he just kept going. It doesn't matter what others say. It matters what you believe in yourself. So I encourage you to believe in yourself, to see yourself as a masterpiece all day long, reminding yourself when you're feeling down, when you think there's something wrong with you, when things aren't working out, reminding yourself of the masterpiece you are, because you are from divine properties. You are from the same properties that made the heavens, made the universe, made the solar system. You are that same property. You are that brilliant inside. All right, next slide, please. So I heard the story about a guy who's at a dinner party, who's looking on the wall at a painting and goes, "That just looks like some kid slapped some paint on it." And then the hostess said, "We paid over $1 million for that. It's a Picasso." And so they said, "Oh, well, maybe it is kind of nice." And the thing about it is you look who painted you. It is not the painting, it is the painter. And you have been painted by the Most High. You have been painted by the divine to be exactly the way you are. You are not an accident. You are not a limitation. You are not just one of 7 billion people. You are unique, you are original, and you are extraordinary. Look who you've been painted by. This particular slide went for 34 million, by the way. All right, next slide. This is a pretty funny story. This guy, who I'm sure you recognize, was told his Adam's apple stuck out too much. He talked too slow, and he refused to fix a chipped tooth, which is that one all on the side there that's hard to see. And so got fired from Universal. Told he had no future in acting. This guy's an icon and was told he had no future. Last slide, please. You are a masterpiece. This is who you are. You are here in the perfect and right time. You are in the perfect and right body. You have the perfect and right mind. For right now, this is who you are. This is who you have come here to be. This is how we push the barriers, is by recognizing the magnificence and beauty of who we are. All these folks who are up here recognized it, so can all of you. The only difference between them and any of us is their willingness to bring forth that which was thought of as a limitation into something magnificent. Go, no, this is not my limitation. This is my brilliance. No, this is not my disability. This is my brilliance. This is what I have to offer to bring to the world. This is what I encourage each of you to bring forth. That which is within you, that is of your highest and best. It is there. It doesn't matter if you have the whim, if you have the desire. It is not a fantasy. Don't look at yourself in the mirror and go, it's too late, it's too early, it's this, it's that. No, you are a masterpiece. We teach in this teaching that anything is possible and that anything starts with you because you are a masterpiece. Thank you. I love you. All right, take out what you're going to give and hold it in your hand. Don't crumple it up. Hold it in your hand. This is power. This is energy. What we're doing is we're infusing life into life, putting forth the magnificence that we are into life through money. So let's read this together. God is the source of all supply. Money is God in action. What we give, we receive multiplied abundantly. All that God is, I am. And so it is.